everybody. Good afternoon. It is Monday, December the 5th, and what is the start of what I anticipate being kind of a slow week. The reason I say is because we just finished with the non-farm payroll last week, and we've got a Fed announcement on the 16th, pushes us into next week, past this week. So not a lot of news nor earnings this week either. Fed speak is pretty quiet in front of the next FOMC announcement, and really today we had some numbers, ISM, and we don't really get much more until the latter part, really tail end of the week. Thursday night there's some Chinese inflation data, and then Friday morning there are some numbers, but PPI. But it's going to be, I guess, kind of a I'm looking at kind of a slow week anyway, at least till the latter part of the week. But that doesn't mean it could be, you could say range bound, but we could be in relatively kind of a wide range, and I think we are. So, we lift off was down here on CPI on November the 10th at 37.50. It rallies up and then goes sideways up here for a while. We got to talk about that. There's a couple of tests a little higher, a little lower. We got to talk about that. And to end, anyway, the week, last week at 40.75, which was balanced last week, which was the non-farm payroll price that it was, trading when the news, when the number came out pre-market, that broke and then rallied back to the end of the day. And then it was the settlement at the end of the day at 40.75, which is also kind of the beginning of this week. So here we go. Here's what it looks like. Double top right there during that period of 11.10 through present right there at 40.50. I kind of look at that as sort of the over-under in this whole bunch of mess, I guess, if you will. Call that the middle of the road. But below that, remember all this balance from the day after the CPI 11.11 all the way to present is down here, still below us at this 39, call it 68 kind of price, and we did not trade there today. We traded down to like 87 or something. So we still got that to do. That's going to happen this week, I'm pretty sure. So, and then I anticipate either that or the price at which we were trading 55 on that last Powell print for that to be kind of the spot that holds and trades us back up towards the top of the range, which would put us into above 4,100. So for this week, we'd be looking at let's keep it, let's not go crazy. Call it this week like 4,130, 4,130, 40, but probably like 4,130, somewhere up in there. So that's range bound, but that's a wide range, right? I mean, so we balanced back here, 39, call it 68. Traded 40.50 and 39.20 with balance at 68. Rallied up 40.75. We've come in a little bit today, not much, just a Monday sort of a easing, pulling back a little bit. Coming back, in my opinion, to check balance back here at 68. Possibly trade a little bit below that, maybe at 55, but I'd look for 68 to hold, honestly. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Then it'll be 55, but 68 first, hold. And then have us trade back up toward the top of this range would be the way I'm looking at this. That's range bound, but it's a wide range. So how do we get there? Well, the on that NFP break, right, from 75, it kind of held. It wasn't the low of the move, but it held pretty well right there at 17 on the way down that morning. That ends up today also being Monday's session mid VWAP. And full session was up at about 23. So I'm going to say that we go out today 4,000, kind of 4,005, rallies up tonight to about 20, 4,020, puts it right in the middle of the session mid VWAP, NFP kind of hold at the bottom right there. This is Monday night, towards over full session VWAP up at 23, puts it about 40.20 area right in the middle of those two right there at 40.20. Goes ahead and holds overhead and breaks for this this main test target down here at 68, and then we start the Tuesday turnaround Tuesday recovery bid. Tomorrow for backup, starting to move back up into the range. That's that's kind of what I'm looking at. Quant levels for this week has really, really, really close to, the L1 right there, really close to that same print that I'm giving you down here at 60-ish right there. And then the the top print up there is actually a little rich. Could happen, but it's a little rich. It's just so you know where it's at, 41.70. I'd put this thing up into maybe 41.30, like I said, but that's kind of what I'm looking for, and the reason why too. The why is important also, because you got to have a basis for your thesis, and the fact that we don't have a lot really going on this week on the heels of having enough to make a difference last week in front of enough to make a difference next week gives us a chance to kind of just slosh around and range here for a bit this week in front of the next bout of information. So who knows what that's going to be? We know the market's pricing in the anticipation of the rate adjustments going to half a point instead of 3/4. But I'll tell you this in advance: if we get 3/4 instead of a half, that'd be a shock to the system. And I'll remind us all that where we came from on what believed to be this new information, and that was 37.50 back here. That was 7:30 in the morning on CPI Thursday, 11:10, and boy did it catch a bid obviously from that print. So that's where everything repriced from, with this new anticipation of market kind of repricing for half a point instead of 3/4. So if you get 3/4, that's where you go back to, right? But that's down the road. That's just food for thought for right now. As long as it's market's forward looking, getting what it is pricing in right now, then then we're higher. We're just going higher. All this is come back, check balance, and then still next leg up is what it looks like to me anyway. All right. Hope it helps. Good trade. Nice evening. Hope the levels make sense, and the narrative is. Honestly, the narrative here is this. It's like, step back for a minute and look at, this is a daily chart. Step back and look at the daily chart and look what's going on. We bid, come in. Why not the next leg be another, bid, right? And I'd say what I'm thinking is that last week's balance was at 4075. Call it 4080-ish up here is going to be the new balance. The old balance was 37.50 down here, then it was 39.68, still is. I got a feeling the next new one's going to be this 40 kind of 75 area up here, and that means you test both sides of it, right? If you're going to do that, then you got to come back down here 39.70s and test it. We also got to go up top to something that's a little too expensive to come back down to the new balance, right? So we'll check below, come back to it, check above, come back to it, and make another balance up there the same as these others that we've seen just recently in the kind of recent past, right? That's what I got. Hope it makes sense, and look forward to being with you again at the next update. Till then, good trading.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency. It's one of the things that won me